When Maya disappeared along the Appalachian Trail, search teams found nothing but her torn backpack and a page scribbled with the words, "They're watching." For years, her mother Evelyn refused to give up. Then, 5 years later, a camper stumbled upon a hidden hollow deep in the forest. There, stacked stone altars stood in silence, and on one of them lay scraps of Maya's blue rain jacket. Etched into the stone beside it was something even more disturbing, the outline of a bare human footprint. Fresh. Before we go any further, if this is your first time here, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Your support means the world and helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us until the end, and if this mystery moves you, share your thoughts in the comments and pass it along to a friend. She signed the register with a blue pen, neat letters that made her look older than 17. Maya Bell. July heat pressed against the Appalachian Trail like a hand over a mouth. Hikers milled around the parking lot, boots thudding, car doors slamming, laughter that felt too bright against all that green. Maya tugged the strap of her pack twice, a tiny ritual, then smoothed the folded map she'd creased and recreased until the ridgelines looked like a heartbeat. A cashier at the last gas station had given her the look people reserve for teenagers traveling alone. You sure about solo?" he'd said, pretending to rearrange beef jerky sticks. Two men by the coffee machine whispered just loud enough. "Trail takes folks sometimes." "Nah, she's got it. Phones, GPS, all that." The first one sniffed. "Phones don't work where trees decide they don't." Maya checked her phone anyway. 1 bar, then none. She thumbed the locket at her collarbone, breathed slow, and stepped beneath the white blaze. The woods swallowed the parking lot in 3 strides. Air shifted cooler. Light filtered into green coins. The smell was damp bark, wet stone, an earthy sweetness like rain that hadn't fallen yet. Birds called, then paused. Her pulse steadied to the rhythm of her boots on packed dirt. She wasn't running from home, exactly. Just running toward something that felt like proof. Proof she could do hard things, hold a line, come back with a story. The trail had always felt like a sentence she needed to finish, the kind that starts with a whisper and ends with a full breath. Mid-morning, she passed a couple descending, faces pink and happy-tired. "Wassop," Maya offered. They nodded, eyes flicking to the alone of her. After they rounded the bend, their voices thinned, then returned in the tiniest echo, offbeat, like the forest couldn't quite remember the words. By noon, sweat cooled under her pack straps. She tightened them a notch, sipped from her bottle, and logged a note in her small spiral. Mile 6, footbridge, mushrooms like tiny umbrellas. She liked naming things. It made the space feel less like a map and more like a place that knew her back. A breeze lifted the hair at her temple. Somewhere to her right, a branch cracked. One sharp snap, then nothing. She stood still, listening so hard her ears rang. Leaves stuttered, then settled. Okay. At a lean-to near a creek, she ate peanut butter on a stubborn tortilla and aired out her socks on a twig. 2 section hikers ambled in, traded weather talk, side-eyed her gear. When they left, one stage whispered, "Kids," and the other said, "Trail sorts the brave from the lucky." Maya pretended not to hear, but her jaw worked. She finished her water, rolled her socks, tightened her bootlaces with quick, decisive tugs. Afternoon grew dense. The canopy darkened by half, a green ceiling lowering just enough to make the path feel narrower. White blazes flashed like small moons on the bark. At a junction, she rechecked the map, folded it along a new crease, and traced the route with one finger. A smear of blue ink, sweat or creek, blurred the contour line. She wiped her thumb on her shorts, laughed once at herself, small and breathy. The first odd thing was so small she almost missed it. 3 lines scored into a poplar at shoulder height, too tidy to be animal, too crooked to be survey paint. The second was a length of bright orange paracord, knotted around a sapling, the knot tight and recent. She photographed both out of habit. The third was the feeling, like the woods exhaled and didn't fully inhale again. She made camp early at a legal site near a trickle of water. Stove hissed. Ramen bloomed into salt and steam. Fireflies stitched small, bright seams between ferns. She jotted in the spiral by headlamp glow. Day 1 good. Feet okay. Heard a snap? Deer? Markings on poplar X3. She underlined once, then twice, then scratched it out and wrote fine beside it, as if choosing the word could make it true. Before zipping her tent, she scanned the darkness. Habit, not fear. A moth batted her knuckles. In the beam's edge, leaves shivered without wind. She told herself it was nothing, tucked the spiral under her jacket, and lay back. Nylon whispered as she shifted. She counted breaths, traced the locket with a thumb, and listened until the night's noises stacked into a lullaby. Creek thread, leaf tick, a far owl. Somewhere beyond the pool of her headlamp, something matched her rhythm for 3 beats, then didn't. The air cooled another notch. She blinked hard, told herself the trail was just saying hello the way old places do, by quieting around you to see if you'll stay. Tomorrow she'd push for the ridge. Tonight she slept with her boots under her knees, laces looped together, a trick an old blog had told her. The forest let her drift, but it did not forget. Morning broke thin and gray, light filtering through mist like someone had pulled gauze across the sky. Maya rubbed grit from her eyes, unlooped her boots, and laced them tighter than yesterday. Her spiral got a new line. Day 2. Fog. Heard owls too close. Fine. She moved quickly, hoping to beat the heat that never really came. The fog clung stubborn, chilling her sweat. Every time she breathed, her exhale drifted like smoke. She adjusted her pack strap, blinked against the damp, and kept to the rhythm. Step, step, sip, step. By mid-morning, she passed another hiker, a man in his 50s with a heavy beard and a weather-stained ball cap. He lifted his trekking pole in greeting, then gave her a look that lingered too long. "Solo?" he asked, voice flat. Maya hesitated, then said, "Yeah, Wasip." The man frowned, tapped the pole against the dirt. "Be careful out here. Trail keeps its own." He didn't wait for a reply, just walked on, his figure swallowed by fog until the sound of his poles faded like a metronome running down. Maya shook her head, half smile, half unease. Still, she tightened her hip strap again, as if bracing could keep his words from sticking. The trail narrowed into switchbacks, roots thick as ropes underfoot. At one bend, she spotted something hanging from a branch, a strip of faded blue fabric, frayed at the edges, fluttering in the still air. She touched it. It was damp, gritty, too worn to be new. Her spiral got another note. Cloth? Marker? That night, she camped near an old stone shelter, roof sagging but walls solid. Carvings covered the stones, initials, dates, hearts with arrows. She traced one with a finger, 1974. Another, 2010. Then, deeper and darker, gouged at an angle. Help. She pulled her hand back like it burned. 2 other hikers shared the shelter that night, both college-aged, both curious about her solo. One whispered to the other when they thought Maya slept, "She's braver than me." The reply came soft but sharp. Or, stupid. Trail swallows the unprepared. Maya didn't stir, but her chest tightened. She rolled onto her side, boots close, spiral under her hand. Sometime past midnight, she woke to a sound. Not owls, not coyotes. It was lighter, deliberate. Footsteps, slow, circling the shelter. She held her breath, eyes wide in the dark, listening so hard her head buzzed. The steps stopped. Then came the soft scrape of something across stone, like a nail dragged on rock. The others slept through it, or pretended to. At dawn, the fabric strip was gone. So was one of her socks she'd left drying on a branch. She swallowed hard, stuffed her gear, and wrote nothing in the spiral that morning. Only pressed the pen into the page until it tore. By the end of the day, hikers behind her swore they'd seen her red bandana tied to her pack sway left when she turned right. Like the trail had 2 Mayas, moving in opposite directions. And by the 3rd night, her tent stood alone. The chatter of other hikers was gone. Only the woods, dense and heavy, waiting. 5 years had folded over the memory of Maya's disappearance, smoothing it into local legend. On the trail, her name became a caution. Hikers whispered at shelters, "Remember that girl? The one who went alone? Vanished." Others shrugged, muttering, "Coyotes, wrong turn, happens." The woods had kept their answer, until one humid July evening. The camper's name was Eli. He wasn't new to the trail, but he wasn't hardened either. A weekend warrior type, boots too clean, pack stuffed with things he didn't need. He had a camera strapped to his chest and an eager energy that made old-timers roll their eyes. He just wanted peace, photos, and a story to tell back home. That evening, as he searched for a flat patch of ground to pitch his tent, his foot hit something hollow. A dull thunk against the dirt. Eli crouched, brushed away damp leaves, and found the edge of weathered canvas. His heart jumped. He dug with both hands until his nails filled with soil, dragging free what was once a backpack. Red, faded to rust. He unzipped carefully, the sound tearing against years of rot. Inside lay scraps, a tin cup, the spine of a spiral notebook with its pages swollen and stuck, a single bootlace coiled like a dead worm, and tucked in a plastic bag, stiff and yellowed, photos. Maya, squinting against the sun, her smile awkward but alive. Eli's hands shook. He checked the ground around him. More canvas. A collapsed tent, poles snapped, and a few feet away, half hidden under moss, the remains of boots with their soles torn off. He swallowed hard, muttered, "Whoa, what the hell?" His voice felt too loud here. That night, he didn't sleep. Every twig crackled too sharp, every breeze hissed too long. He clutched his flashlight until his knuckles ached. When dawn came, the world looked the same, but his chest stayed tight. Eli tried to convince himself to leave it. Report later, maybe. But curiosity pressed. The spiral notebook pulled at him. He peeled 2 damp pages apart and saw shaky pen strokes. Don't trust the trail. Saw them again. Watching, not alone. His stomach dropped. When he hiked back out days later, word spread fast. Rangers went in, careful, cataloging each piece. Locals gathered at diners, whispering theories louder than before. And somewhere, Maya's family received the call they thought would never come. Her things had been found. But not her. And on the page, Eli had stopped at, ink smeared, nearly erased, one final line. If anyone finds this, you're already too close. The Rangers moved in first, cautious and tight-lipped. They cordoned off the area with neon tape that fluttered against the trees like warnings. Their boots pressed into damp soil, echoing where Maya's light steps had vanished years before. For hours they picked apart the scene, bagging scraps, lifting prints, cataloging bones of canvas and metal. Her family was called to the ranger station 2 towns away. Her mother, Evelyn, had aged twice as fast since 2012. Eyes sunken, hair streaked with gray, hands clutched around hope that had never loosened. When they laid out the rusted red backpack on a table, Evelyn's throat closed. She touched it as if it might dissolve. "Are you sure?" she whispered. The ranger didn't answer. He didn't need to. Word spread faster than wildfire. The diner, the gas station, the church steps, all pulsed with chatter. Locals claimed they'd always known something was wrong. An older man told anyone who'd listen, "My father warned me. There's watchers in those woods. Always has been." A teenager posted online that hikers had gone missing in the 80s too, but nobody ever linked it together. And then came Eli's story. The notebook. The words scribbled in panic. Saw them again. Watching. His hands trembled as he told reporters, swearing the notes weren't smudges of imagination. At night, Evelyn replayed those words, staring at the ceiling. Who was Maya writing about? The trail itself? People? Something else? The police report didn't help. The evidence was inconclusive. No blood, no body, no clear trail of violence. Just fragments that whispered instead of shouted. Yet whispers have power. Online forums lit up with theories, secret cult activity, hidden cabins, forest watchers who preyed on solo hikers. Others swore Maya had simply run away, leaving those scribbles as dramatics. But Evelyn knew her daughter. Maya was shy, timid, a girl who never raised her voice above a hum. She wouldn't run. She wouldn't fake. That night, Evelyn found herself back on the Appalachian maps, tracing the trail with shaking fingers. She lingered on the section where Maya's things had been found. Her chest tightened as she whispered into the empty room. "I'm coming to find you." Evelyn returned to the Appalachian Trailhead on a gray morning, clutching the same map her daughter had carried 5 years earlier. The forest greeted her with a damp silence, the kind that pressed against skin like a second layer. Every sound, the crunch of boots, the flap of her jacket, felt amplified, as if the trees were listening. Her neighbors thought she was reckless. "She's torturing herself," one woman whispered in line at the grocery store. Another muttered, "If the girl's gone, she's gone. Why keep dragging it up?" Evelyn heard them but ignored them. She wasn't here for gossip. She was here for Maya. The deeper she walked, the more her chest tightened. The slope bent in ways she recognized from old photos. A fallen oak, a mossy boulder where hikers used to pose. She stopped at the clearing where rangers had found the backpack. The dirt was freshly disturbed, an unnatural scar in the landscape. She crouched low, tracing the edges of the soil with her fingers, whispering her daughter's name like a prayer. And that's when she noticed it. A pattern burned faintly into the earth. Circles, overlapping, crudely carved by something sharp. The shape wasn't random. It was deliberate, as if someone had been marking the ground over and over with meaning. Her stomach knotted. She remembered the notebook scribble. Saw them again, watching. Behind her, the forest shifted. A branch snapped. She whipped around, heart slamming against her ribs, but saw nothing. Only trees leaning into the mist. She pressed forward, following a trail that looked barely touched. Hours bled away until the air grew heavier, colder. Finally, she stumbled into a hollow where stone piles had been stacked into crude altars. Atop one lay something impossible. Scraps of bright blue fabric, the same color as Maya's old rain jacket, weather-worn but unmistakable. Evelyn's knees buckled. She reached out, fingers trembling when she caught it. Etched faintly into the stone, the outline of a bare human footprint, not fossilized, not old, fresh. The forest exhaled around her, long and slow, as if aware she had found it. Her mind screamed to turn back, but her body wouldn't move. Evelyn felt it deep inside. This wasn't just a disappearance. It was a presence. Something had claimed her daughter, and it was still here. The rangers would later document the site, but never release details. Too bizarre, too terrifying, too unbelievable for public record. But Evelyn knew. The footprint wasn't just a trace. It was a warning, and from that moment on, she was certain of one thing. Maya's story wasn't over. Maya's trail ended in the shadows of the mountains, but the questions never did. Who built those altars? Who or what left that fresh footprint 5 years later? If this story left you unsettled, don't stop here. Like, share, and subscribe for more real-life mysteries that refuse to fade. Because the truth is, the woods keep secrets, and some are still waiting to be found.